So in the last lecture, we discovered the provisions of calculation of perquisite of accommodation. It can be unfurnished, furnished, or hotel accommodation. Within these three subcategory, unfurnished, furnished, and hotel, there can be a perquisite of rent-free unfurnished, rent-free furnished, or rent-free hotel, or unfurnished accommodation at concessional rate, rent or rate, whatever is that, furnished accommodation at concessional, and hotel accommodation at concession. That provision I have told you in the last lecture. Now please raise your hand if you are comfortable in computing the value of perquisite of accommodation. Okay, so most of you are comfortable, others are not raising the hand. That means they need to practice, or there must be they must be having some problem in raising the hands. Anything can happen because in technology there can be so many times issues also. Anyhow, let me start discussing with you my second perquisite, perquisite of motor car. When car is provided to the employee by the employer, what benefit or what is the value which should be taxable in the hands of the employee? While deriving the value of any perquisite, just one logic should be kept in mind, that what benefit has happened to me, what loss has been avoided by me, because this loss or benefit is nothing you are saving, and your saving is nothing but your income. You pay the tax. That's the simple logic. The same logic we will apply in determining the value of perquisite of motor car. So let me start discussing the perquisite of motor car. Is the screen visible?
Yes, sir.
Okay. So let me start writing.
So just confirming, maybe it's just me, but I can see like neat. It says Dr. Naveen Mukul Roman.
No, that is not the screen then. Now it is visible, of course, I think.
Yes, sir.
It is taking some time in sharing it, so uh, wait for some seconds. It is taking some time. I hope now you can see carefully. So I'm starting now discussing with you the perquisite of motor car. Now, can you think logically? What is my saving if I get a car from the employer? What is logically my saving if I get a car from my employer?
So depreciation.
So practically I can say that had I purchased this car myself, there would have been a personal loss to me in terms of losing of this car value on account of depreciation every year. This loss I am avoiding now. So this is a benefit, of course. Now, while you determine the value of motor car, you should go step by step. First, check who owns the car, who has owned or hired the car, because so many times this can also happen that as an employer, just like in accommodation, it was possible that the accommodation is owned by the employer or taken on rent by the employer, though it was given to me as an employee at free of rent or at very less rent. Same happens with car. In big companies, there are requirement of thousands of cars. So not every company purchases the car. They take the car on hire charges. So as to unnecessarily save themselves from the regular maintenance and expenses of the car. They take the car on hire charges. So entire responsibility lies with the person who owns the car then. Just like in big hospitals, you don't find ambulances which are owned by the hospitals. They take the ambulance on hire charges. Now, when I say who owns the car, it doesn't mean ownership. It means that who has provided the car. Is this car provided by the employer, whether owned by the employer or taken on hire by the employer, or employee's own car is there? So who owns or hired the car? Employer or the employee? This is the first question which you should ask to yourself whenever you have to compute the value of this perquisite. Then you will ask another question to yourself. Who incurs the running and maintenance expenses on car? Just by having the car doesn't mean that you can run this car. You need petrol, you need diesel, you need regular expenses, you need pollution certificate, you need insurance. So many things are required. So who incurs the running and maintenance expenses on car? Employer is incurring the expenses or employee? This is the second question which you should ask to yourself. Then third, for what purpose the car is being used? This is the third question which you should ask to yourself. Official or only personal, or official as well as personal? This is 100% official, this is 100% personal, this is official as well as personal. So you cannot say that 50% official, 50% personal, or 1% official, 99% official personal, or 1% personal, 99% official. This is not such any, there is no such any segregation. It is official as well as personal. It can be 10, 90, 20, 80, any ratio can be there, because it is not easy to identify how much percentage official, how much percentage personal. In real life, it is not easy to identify this. So you say it is mix. How much and how much not, that is not relevant. Whenever you determine the value of perquisite as per these, a perquisite of motor car, you should proceed in these with these different steps. First, always check whose car is this. Then always check who is incurring the running and maintenance expenses, and then you always check the use of this car. It helps you in giving the correct answer. Next point. Some note you should remember. First of all, if car facility is given to commute the distance from office to residence and back to office, or residence to office and back to residence and back. If for this purpose the car is given, then it is an exempt perquisite. There is no need to compute any answer. It is tax free. So you are now learning some examples of perquisites which are exempt. If someone asks you this point, that which perquisites are exempt, then now you can answer some points. Like in accommodation also, if accommodation is provided in a remote area, it is exempt. If accommodation is provided for a period not exceeding 15 days, in case the employee is transferred from one place to another, and if this accommodation is a hotel accommodation, it is exempt. Similarly, car, if provided to commute the distance from office to residence and back, that is also exempt. So when I say I am computing taxable value, I should not forget that there may be some examples in each and every perquisite where there is no need to compute any value. It is tax-free. So it's a tax-free perquisite. Which perquisite is tax-free? Not the entire motor car. Only when the motor car is provided to commute the distance from office to residence and back. I hope these 2 points are clear. Now, let me start preparing a table, and with this I will explain some points to you. You can note down these points if you want. Now, taking the screenshot results in wastage of time. This is what my opinion is. It is better when you start writing down along with me. That saves your time. If you are taking the screenshot and then you are noting the points later on, it is, in my view, a wastage of time. Though it depends on every other views. So you might be having a different view, but I think that writing along with me is better. So let me discuss one situation, or first situation, situation 1, where car is provided by the employer. Now that car can be owned car, maybe the employer has owned this car or employer has hired this car. Any way can happen, but car is provided by the employer. Now let us prepare a small table. So I will see who incurs the running and maintenance expenses on car. What is the use of this car? So now you have to think logically. If car is owned by employer, and if the use is official, can you think logically what is the benefit to me? The car has been given to the employer and I have used it for official purpose only. What is my benefit in this case? Can you tell me?
Nil.
Nil. Because ultimately I'm using it for official purpose, so there is no personal benefit to me, so why I should pay the tax? So I will say that the value of perquisite is nil. Nil. But in this case it is necessary. It is necessary to maintain specified documents. The act, or you can say income tax rules, are telling some documents to be maintained, because otherwise there will be tax evasion. Because when people know that when you use the car for official purpose, there is no value to be taxed in the hands of the employee, everyone will say that the car is used for official purpose, no one will say that the car is used for personal purpose. So in this case the rule says that you have to maintain the required documents, like on which date the car has covered how many kilometers, what was the purpose of journey, etc, etc. So you have to maintain specified documents. Only then you will be able to genuinely claim this benefit. This specified document, simple form, you can say logbook of the car, where the details of this car will be maintained. It has covered on which date, how many kilometers, etc, etc. Now, who incurs the expenses has become irrelevant. It does not matter whether employer incurs the expenses or employee. Whenever the car is used for official or personal purpose, the value of perquisite in my hands becomes nil because there is no benefit to me, and I am computing this to compute my salary. So what benefit I am getting? Nothing. Suppose the car is used for personal purpose. Personal purpose. Can you think logically? How will I compute the value? Car is owned by the employer, or let me say that expenses are also incurred by the employer. Using the car for personal purpose gives me what benefits? Can you tell? Think logically. Can anyone try that if car is owned by employer, expenses are incurred by the employer, what, and I'm using only for personal purpose, what personal benefit is happening to me, or what loss I have avoided? What is the saving in this case happening logically?
So depreciation and maintenance cost.
Yes, this is first thing. That since it is not my car, I am saving that per year loss in the value because of depreciation. Then, if I'm getting running and maintenance expenses, this is another benefit. Had this expense not been incurred by the employer, I would have to incur the expense myself. So these two are the benefits. That is the only answer. So how will I write the answer? I should say that normal wear and tear. This is the language we are using under income tax rules, rule 3, under which I am deriving this value. So I will write normal wear and tear. At what rate? 10% per annum of actual cost. Actual cost, not written down value. Every word has a relevance. I'm not concerned with what is the written down value right now. 10% per annum of actual cost. If car is owned by employer, but still one point is left. Can you tell me what is left? This is on the assumption that employer has the ownership of the car. Can you tell me or what I should write? Or what I should write? If car is hired by the employer, then this is what the saving to the employee. Hire charges paid or payable by the employer. Never get confused with the word paid. And while determining the perquisite, any perquisite, we are not saying actually paid. We check the expense which has become due in the hands of the employer. Whether employer has paid it now to the third party, or maybe he will pay, employer will pay after 3 years, 4 years, that is a different thing. But this is the expense on an average which has been incurred to get this perquisite for the employee. So don't get confused the word that it is not actually paid, it will be payable. That payable is also my saving because it will be payable after some time. Had I also took this perquisite myself, this benefit myself, I also had to pay this expense. So no, don't get confused with the word paid. It may be higher charges payable by the employer, that is equivalent to deriving a benefit. Higher charges paid or payable by the employer. If car is hired by the employer. So any of these things will happen. Either it will be owned or it will be hired. So any one thing will come. Then what you add? Actual running and maintenance expenses. Or you can say then you add because these are actual based. Actual running and maintenance expenses. Incurred by the employer. Can you tell me some examples of that? Petrol,
Repair,
diesel, service charge, then insurance is also required, etc. Driver can also be there. So you add it separately, driver's salary. Paid or payable by the employer. I told you, don't get confused with the word paid. Paid or payable by the employer. Total is the benefit. But can you tell me logically what things should be deducted by default? What I should deduct?
Amount recovered from employer.
Yes, because that recovery, though not forceful recovery, of course, it's simple recovery, it's a point. That recovery will help or not help, this recovery will prevent my saving. So I will say that if this is the saving which department is assuming, I have incurred this much expenditure also. So the difference is only my saving on which I should be forced to pay the tax. Amount recovered from the employee. This is the answer. Please raise your hand if you got this point. Car provided by the employer, expenses incurred by the employer, use only personal. So this is the logical way to determine the value. You should not learn the things, you should understand the things. In life there are so many things on which, or almost in all the things, there is some logic, except some where we take the decision not on the basis of logic but because of our perception, etc. But law goes with the provisions. So you should think logically these provisions. Now, think logically. If I make a change here, now if I say that car is provided by the employer, but expense is incurred by the employee, car employer, but expense employee, then can you tell me what should be my answer? Car employer, but running and maintenance expenses I am incurring as an employee and I'm using it for personal purpose. So what should be the personal benefit to me which is happening? How should I determine the value in this case?
So then only we should look at the depreciation or the wear and tear.
Or higher charges?
Yes, sir.
So in that case, my answer will be what? It will only be this point. Okay. So I can say that actual running and maintenance expenses, these should be added if incurred by the employer. Because if it is employee's case, then these are not incurred by the employer, so I will not add it. So these are to be added only when these are incurred by the employer, otherwise ignore it. Similarly, driver's salary. If payable by the employer, you add it, otherwise ignore it. If employee is paying, you ignore it. It's simple. Amount recovered from the employee, of course, you have to deduct. That's it. If this point is also clear, please raise your hand. You have to think logically, and then you have to start making changes when you read any provision of any subject, not only income tax, but of any subject, whether it is accountancy, human resource, financial management, cost accounting, whatever. Think logically. Now, next point. Now I am using the case, I am discussing the case where car is used for official as well as personal. So next page. Now the use is official and personal. And the expenses are incurred by the employer. Now in real life it is very complicated now. it is not easy to exactly determine that the car, for how much percentage the car's use is official and for how much percentage the car's use is personal. It is not so easy to determine. I will tax the perquisite only for the personal benefit. Official is not the value which should be taxed. So when car is official and personal, just imagine the car is used for official as well as personal. I should tax only this personal value. But how do you determine it? So you must be having total expenditure with you. Am I right or not? You must be having, this is the total expenditure. From this you will deduct official expenditure. Then you will say that, oh, this is the expenditure which is incurred for personal use. Am I right or not? If I know that actual petrol maintenance expenses 2,10,000 per year and for official only 70,000 is used, then I can say that 140 is the expenditure incurred for personal purpose. So you should tax, employee should be taxed for 140. Is this point understood or not? But this can be one of the way. When you know the actual expenditure, everyone can have an idea at least to know the actual expenditure, though that is also not easy. In that case, you have to maintain all the records of the entire year. That is also very difficult to determine actual expenditure. But let us assume the worst situation. Then I have noted each and every expenditure. I have noted exactly official expenditure. Then I can determine that this is the actual personal expenditure. Is it clear or not? That is not so easy, but at least I can do this thing. Please raise your hand if you have understood this vague example of mine. I'm not going to proceed with this example, but I'm simply giving you a situation that at least this much I can try, though that is also very difficult. It's not easy to maintain the records of 365 days. कभी कभार पेट्रोल 100 रुपए का भी डलता है गाड़ी में, 2000 का भी डलता है. कौन कितना मेंटेन करेगा? So many times we don't take the bill also from the petrol pump, so it's not so easy. So it would have made already the income tax act is very complicated, and such provisions would have made the tax very, very, very complex. What is the best way where, ignoring all such things, directly, if I as an assessee ask to the department or to the government that why you are doing so many things, you simply tell me how much on an average should be paid by me as personal use. The department can simply tell me that if car is owned by employer, expenses are incurred by the employer, and you are using for official and personal, department can simply say that, okay, per month 500 or 50,000 per month or 10,000 per month or 2,000 per month. Department should fix an amount that you pay the tax on this amount. We will assume, or department will assume, that this much is the personal benefit. That is easy as compared to that long method. And this is what department has adopted. They say that when car is owned by the employer, expenses are incurred by the employer, use official as well as personal. So your personal benefit should be taken as flat, 1800 per month, flat. No need to maintain anything, 1800 per month if CC, cubic capacity, CC means cubic capacity of the engine. Now see how much difficult this is. You have to maintain the records of engine capacity. If cubic capacity of the engine does not exceed 1.6 liter. 1.6 liter means 1600 cc. Like Alto is 1000 cc, Centro, i10, these are around 1200 cc. Sports car or some big cars like Endeavour, Ford, heavy cars. These are more than 1600 cc. Some are 2000 cc, 2200 cc, Fortuner, etc. These are heavy cars. Now in those cars, the moment your engine capacity increases, your petrol consumption rises. So if employer is giving the reimbursement of those expenses, so you are saving more. So department says, if you have a small car, small in the eyes of the department is still 1600 cc, then 1800 per month is your personal benefit. If you have big car, then 2400 per month is your personal benefit if cubic capacity of the engine exceeds 1.6 liter. Along with it, So whether the car will be small or big. But along with it, if driver is also provided, so driver does not depend upon engine capacity in the eyes of the department. So they say that driver is also doing the official work as well as personal work. Personal work doesn't mean the household work. Personal means as far as car is concerned. If you are going for some personal use of the car to your relative or household, etc., then you are taking the availing or you are availing the services of driver also. So for driver also, it is not easy to exactly identify how much is official and how much is personal. So department has given a flat amount, only 900 per month. So this amount is very less. So there is no problem. Only 900 per month if driver is also provided by the employer. So this is easy as compared to that, as compared to this method. This was very difficult. So this has made the provisions a little bit easy. That you only concentrate on engine capacity. You simply tell us the engine capacity. If car is owned by the employer, expenses are incurred by the employer, use official as well as personal, then the answer is flat 1800 per month or 2400 per month, depending upon the engine capacity, plus 900 per month if driver is also provided by the employer. Now, if the car is owned or hired by the employer, but expenses are incurred by the employee. If the expenses are incurred by the employee and use is official as well as personal, so in this case, now there is less benefit to me. Or you can say lesser benefit to me as compared to the situation when expenses are also incurred by the employer. Because now the benefit which I am getting as an employee is only the use of that car. That I was not supposed to purchase my own car, I was not supposed to hire my own car, but maintenance expenses I am incurring and I'm using for official and personal, so the benefit is less. So Act says, department says, or the you can say income tax rule says that rather than 1800, it will become 600 if engine capacity does not exceed 1.6 liter, and if engine capacity exceeds 1.6 liter, this 2400 becomes 900 plus 900 per month if driver is also provided by the employer. Please raise your hand if you have understood this third different point also. When car is provided by the employer, expenses are incurred by the employer or the employee, and if the use is official as well as personal, to maintain this simplicity, to try to maintain the simplicity, flat answer is given 1800 or 2400 plus 900 or 600 or 900 plus 900. And can you notice one thing? What I have not done? Can anyone notice something? What logically should have been done, but I am not doing anything here? Can you tell me what thing I have avoided?
So deducting the amount that's recoverable from employee.
Yes. Now, if you notice something, this is the only perquisite. This is the only perquisite where amount recovered from the employee is not deducted. Otherwise, I was telling you logically that amount recovered will reduce my benefit. But department says that now I'm not, that we are not concerned how much is recovered since we are already giving you very less amount. So this is flat taxable. This is the perquisite. This is the only perquisite. In fact, I should say that amount recovered from the employee is not deducted. So do not deduct it. Remember it. Otherwise, in every case, we will deduct it. This is the first exception to this point. Amount recovered from the employee is not deducted when car is provided by the employer. Expense is incurred by the employer or the employee, doesn't matter, but if the use is optional and personal, you do not deduct. Amount recovered from the employee is not deducted when. In fact, I should write when car is provided by the employer and it is used for official or as well as personal purpose. It does not matter who incurred the expenses, but if it is used for official and personal purpose. Please raise your hand if it is clear. Now I will discuss with you some numericals from my book. and you have to solve those numericals yourself. Please raise your hand if you have understood this first main heading, car when provided by the employer. This was the main heading. Let me start giving you some numericals, and I hope that you are in a position to attempt those. So let me discuss some illustrations from my book, Concept Building Approach, and these are given on page number 'You have to tell me the answer now yourself. Think logically. Tax is very easy, or in fact, everything is easy in life if you proceed logically. If you want to make yourself the life complicated, then that is a separate thing. Otherwise, life is very simple and easy. Just proceed logically. Car 1200 cc, owned by the employer. Owned by employer. I will write R only. Owned by the employer, has been given to the employee only for official purpose. Owned by employer, only for official purpose, during the previous year 2021. So during the entire year, for 12 months, the car was given to me. Expenses are incurred by employer. Expenses are incurred by employer. Expenses by employer. Car employer, expense employer, use official. But do you know how much is the expense? It is rupees 1,20,000. Now, can you tell me what is the value on which, as an employee, I should pay the tax?
Nil.
Why? Why nil?
So is there a logbook showing these documents? If yes,
So,
then nil.
why nil? You were saying nil.
The car has
Okay.
only been used for official purposes, so that's why
Yes.
there's no personal benefit to me.
Yes, the value is nil. But now I will write that provided the documents are maintained, or provided the logbook of the car is maintained, this is what I should write. Nil provided the specified documents or logbook of the car is maintained. Are maintained. I hope everyone got the answer. So with this assumption, I am proceeding to the next illustration. Next, you have to tell me the answer yourself. A Maruti WagonR 1200 cc. So car. So it is page 4.34 and 4.35. 1200 cc, which is owned by the employer. Again, owned by employer. Has been given to the employee only for personal purpose. Now the use is 100% personal. On 8th July, given on 8th July, in between you can say 8th July 2020, it was given on 8th July 2020. Actual cost of the car when purchased in November 2014 was 3,50,000. Oh, so that is a different point. Actual cost of the car which was purchased in November 14, it was only rupees 3,50,000. And do you know its returned on value on 8th July 2020 is only rupees 150. But it doesn't mean that entire information which is given to me is of use. So many information which is given to me in the question might be just to create some confusion so that it checks the knowledge of the candidate. Expenses incurred on by the employee. Oh, so who incurs the expense? Employee. Expenses by employee. And what are those expenses? This is the detail. the expenses are, and it is also mentioned that the expenses incurred during 8th July 20 till 31st March 20. So in my book, I have given the illustrations in such a way that there are no possibilities of almost vague assumption. That I have specifically written that these expenses are incurred during 8th July till 31st March 20, because the car was provided to me from 8th July 20. Had I not mentioned this point, there could have been different assumptions. Someone can assume that the expense was incurred, car was provided on 8th July, but expenses were started incurring by the employee from 1st August 20. That could also have been the correct assumption. So that is why assumptions should be clear to avoid any different answer when you check the answer sheets, etc. This is what the thing which should be remembered by the faculty or the instructor, you can say. So expenses incurred during 8 July 20 till 31st March 2021 are petrol 60,000, insurance 10,000, service charge 25,000, driver salary 70,000, and employee has given 30,000 for use of car. Second, these four expenses are reimbursed. These four expenses are reimbursed by the employer to the employee. Expenses are incurred by the employee, but these are reimbursed by the employer. Now you start attempting this case yourself, and some urgent phone call is coming, so I am waiting. You should wait for 2 minutes. Yeah. So I think you have understood the question. Car owned by employer, expense incurred by employee. But do you know this expense which was incurred by the employee has actually been reimbursed by the employer? So in that case, now what I will say, that expenses are incurred by the employer. Is this point clear? So I was incurring the expenses, but the moment these are reimbursed from the employer, technically there is no expenditure on the part of the employee. I will say that for the purpose of computing the value, I will say that the expenses are of course incurred by the employer because he is reimbursing the expenses. And the use is personal use. Car given on 8th July. I told you that month means complete month, so I will start computing the value from 1st July itself. Actual cost of the car 3,50,000, WDV 1,50,000. WDV is of no use. And for using this car, I have given 30,000 back to my employer. Can anyone tell me the answer now? Think logically.
1,61,250.
अरे बड़ी जल्दी कैलकुलेट हो गया भाई. This is the correct answer. Has everyone computed 161,250? If yes, raise the hands. Has everyone computed 161,250? That is the correct answer. So normal wear and tear was 350 into 10% into 9 by 12 from July to this. Actual maintenance expenses, petrol, maintenance, service, driver salary, that was 70, etc. And then you deduct amount recovered from the employee, 30. Okay. So 161, 250 is the correct answer. Those who got this answer, please raise the hands. 161, 250. Those who got the answer, please raise the hands. So that's all from my side. Goodbye. And we will meet in the next lecture where we will discuss motor car. It is still continuing. So that's all from my side. We'll meet later. Goodbye.